What's up, guys? It's Colin Coates from Built2Wander. I'm down here at Ram Off-Road Park in Colorado Springs with three of the most popular 4x4 SUVs on the market today. We brought our 392 and Runner TRD off-road build, both done down at 3D Off-Road, and we also brought our new two-door Bronco. While these builds vary a little bit, some have solid axles, other independent. We've got different tire sizes and lift sizes. There are some common similarities between them that make them more ideal for off-road. So today we're gonna dive in and talk about what we think are the 5 essential modifications for off-roading. So let's get after it. So the Ford Bronco, the Jeep Wrangler 392, and the Toyota 4Runner Off-Road all have their own similarities, and they're also very different. For instance, the Bronco and the 4Runner are similar in that they've got independent front suspension. However, the Wrangler behind me has got a solid front axle, so they're gonna be very different off-road. But each of these three vehicles are well equipped for off-roading. They're all very capable in their own rights, but they're all set up a little bit differently. They've got different size lifts, different size tires. Some have front and rear lockers, some have sway bar disconnect systems. All of those pieces of technology make them better or worse in certain scenarios while we're off-roading. Today we're gonna talk about the 5 essential modifications that all three of these vehicles share. So let's dive into it. Number 1, tires. Oversized tires are a big part of added capability on the trail. The Ford Bronco came with 35-inch tires from the factory. We did that Sasquatch package on that vehicle. The Jeep Wrangler 392 has a 38-inch tire, and the Toyota 4Runner has a 33-inch tire. Both of those are running Nitto Ridge Grapplers, and it's a great all-around tire for off-roading and daily driving, what we're doing today. Having that bigger tire, number 1, you've got the ability to air down. You can run down to 10, 12 PSI or even lower if you have beadlock wheels. Now, the other thing that oversized tire gives you, it gives you the ability to have more traction. We just talked about airing down. Now we're aired down, we've got a bigger profile on the dirt, a better contact patch. So more surface area means more grip, more traction. They also have tougher sidewalls. These Nitto Ridge Grapplers are tough as nails. That's one of the advantages to those tires. Now, when you're talking about an oversized tire, obviously you got to address suspension, which we'll talk about next. But each of these vehicles is set up to what I believe is kind of the ideal tire for them. The 33-inch Ridge Grappler on this Toyota 4Runner fits really well inside those wheel wells, requires very minimal trimming. Aside from that, it's pretty easy to fit that tire on there. The 38s on the Jeep Wrangler, I think that's kind of what the Dana 44 Rubicon axles can handle, up to that 38-inch tire. So for me, going about as big as I could without stressing the factory equipment was a big deal. So that's why we went with a 38-inch tire on the Wrangler. Now on the Ford Bronco, it's got 35s for now without modifying the suspension anymore. That's what we're gonna leave on it, but we do ultimately plan to go to a 37 or a 38 on that Ford Bronco, just to give it a little bit more capability out here on the trail. So number 2, a lift kit. We talked about oversized tires in number 1. A lift kit allows you to have the clearance to run that oversized tire. Not only do you get more clearance, you get more travel out of your suspension. You get a little bit more flex, which allows all 4 tires to stay on the ground as you move through different obstacles. In addition to that additional flex, you also get a better approach angle, a better departure angle, and a better breakover angle, making your vehicle all the more capable while on the trail. Now on the Jeep Wrangler behind me, we wanted to run that 38-inch tire. A 4-inch rock jock lift allowed us to do so. You can also go anywhere from, I'd say, 2 to 4 inches of lift on these things, depending on what size tire you want to run. For instance, if you want to run a 35 to 37-inch tire, a 2 to 3 inch lift is probably going to do the ticket. If you want to run a 40, you might need a 4 to 6 inch lift. Here, we did the 4-inch lift with the 38-inch tires. On the Ford Bronco, that thing came from the factory with a 2-inch lift and 35-inch tires with that Sasquatch package. That 2-inch lift has a little bit more flex and suspension travel than the base model Bronco. And as you can see, it flexes really well, especially given that it's got the sway bar disconnect up front as well. A TRD 4Runner that we've got with us, we ran a 3-inch lift to fit that 33-inch tire. Again, just enough clearance so that it reduced all the amount of trimming that we had to do, gives that 4Runner that more aggressive look and stance, and it addresses those few items that we talked about up front, being the approach and departure angle, breakover angle, and additional suspension travel, just making it more capable on the trail, on the rocks, you know, whatever we're doing, depending on the obstacle, that 4Runner can handle it a lot better than it could from the factory. Number 3, a rear locker. Each one of these vehicles is equipped with a rear locker. A lot of 4x4s these days come with them from the factory, but some don't, depending on the trim level you get. So if yours doesn't have a rear locker, I highly recommend it as one of the 5 essential modifications for off-roading. What a rear locker does essentially locks those rear axle shafts together so that when you're moving down the trail, your rear tires are spinning at the same rate. This comes in handy when you're up on an obstacle and say one of your tires comes off the ground. That tire is going to spin, the other tire won't move if you don't have a rear locker. But if you do have a rear locker, both of those tires are going to move at the same rate, which allows you to continue to maintain traction as you move through that obstacle. All right, number 4, recovery equipment. You can see I'm in a pretty interesting situation. I've essentially reached the limits of this Ford Bronco on this particular obstacle. My tires are hung up. They're just not big enough to get up and over this tall ledge. So having some recovery gear is going to allow me to get through this obstacle without damaging the vehicle and will allow me to continue to enjoy the day out here on the trails. The Jeep Wrangler's equipped with a winch, but between the Bronco and the 4Runner, we've got a recovery kit with all the necessary pieces of gear that we need to go ahead and perform this recovery. We've got a tow strap, we've got D-rings, we even have a kinetic rope. I think in this instance, we just need a tow strap. We'll hook it up to the back of the Jeep and we'll slowly pull as I drive through this obstacle to continue to get that momentum and just get up and over here. But yeah, definitely in any off-road build, either equip your vehicle with a winch or have a basic recovery kit that will have what you need to get the job done. With Dom's help, we grabbed a tow strap, 2 soft shackles, we connected that Jeep to this Bronco, got up and over that ledge, which is easily a few feet. I mean, that's a pretty big obstacle, and just a great example of why having the right recovery equipment with you is so necessary when you're off-roading, because now this didn't ruin our day. Instead, we just get up and over it, and we keep enjoying, you know, the trails out here. So lastly, number 5, a navigational tool. We use Onyx Off-Road out here. It actually shows Ram Off-Road Park on the map as a destination. If you click that on the map, it brings up the hours of operation, lets you know when you come out here and have fun like we are today. But beyond that, especially in the mountains of Colorado, there's a lot of trails we get out there, we have no idea where we're at. And Onyx Off-Road or a tool like it allows you to do some preparation ahead of the time. It allows you to know where those turns are, where those obstacles are, and lastly, allows you to connect while you're off the grid without any service. So it's great to be able to see where you're going. It's a great tool to have with you or in your vehicle and will make for such a better experience when you're out on the trail. All right, so we talked about the top 5 essential modifications for off-road builds, but what we didn't talk about was something that I feel is equally as important as all 5 of those items. It's bringing a friend along. So I got my buddies Dom and Derek with me. Dom brought his 4Runner, Derek's piloting the 392 for me, and we had a blast out here. But not only does having a friend with you make the experience more fun, it adds to the camaraderie of off-roading in general, but it also makes it safer. You know, in this instance, Dom was able to help me with the recovery. Had I not had Dom with me and we got the Bronco stuck, we would have been on our own because I didn't have a winch on that vehicle. So it's just things like that to keep in mind. Always bring an extra vehicle, bring another buddy. It'll make your time out here on the trails that much more fun. Guys, thanks for tuning in and joining us out here at Ram Off-Road Park, where we showed you guys the top 5 essential modifications for any off-road vehicle. We had a blast out here on the trail as always, and appreciate you guys following along. Do me a favor, drop a comment below. Let us know if you agree with our top 5 or if you recommend something else. And as always, hit the like button if you did and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, wander on.
Thanks for watching Driving Line. If you guys like this video, consider subscribing to our channel so you'll never miss any of the content we create here. Whether you're into trucks, Jeeps, imports, domestic vehicles, or anything in between, we are here to fuel your passion. So hit that subscribe button and we'll see you guys next time.